Hey.
Hey, I know who you are. You're Johnny, the murderer / sex offender.
Guilty as charged. Well, not really. They haven't caught me yet.
Oh yeah? Well, I know what you're after.
Well, yeah, isn't it obvious?
Look out, Rosie. He's gonna sex offend us. Let's get out of here.
What? No, dude, come back. You've got it all wrong. I was just gonna murder you.
Hey girl, you got me running. Na 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 na. My heart is lost and my mind's gone running. Na 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 na. Hey girl, you know you need me. Na 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 na. Open up your eyes and see me. Na 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 na. Tell me that we'll make it. If there's a chance that I'm gonna take it. Hear my heart now, please don't break it. I don't want nothing but you.
Oh no, Rosie. It's a dead end. What are we gonna do? You know, that's just crazy enough to work.
He locked the door.
Oof, well, that was pretty scary. To review something to get my mind off of it. And you know, it is October, so that means I have to review something scary. It's the law, don't you know? So, I'm gonna review the scariest thing I can think of. Scooby-Doo! Why, you don't think a show doing the exact same thing for 50 years is scary? What's wrong with you? Do I even have to really do the part where I explain the backstory? It's feckin' Scooby-Doo! I think you might have heard of it at some point. Oh, the premise is usually always the same. A group of teens and their talking dog go around solving mysteries. And if you think that premise would get tiring after 50 years, congratulations! Your brain works! Scooby-Doo, of course, wasn't the only Hanna-Barbera property to follow the group of teens and blank solve mysteries together formula. There were a lot of them. Hanna-Barbera. Fuck it. Some notable entries include a group of teens and a talking shark, a talking doom buggy, a caveman, and of course my personal favorite, a funky phantom, who was a guy who got trapped in a clock and died.
It's a funky phantom.
No kids. I think the proper reaction is, ah! A ghost! And he sounds like Snagglepuss! What even? Also, there is a literal dead body in that clock. That thing must be minging. The point is, I don't hate Scooby-Doo, but I really don't have any particular affection for it. Scooby-Doo as a character always really annoyed me, but I did like all the other characters, particularly Velma. Girl. The problem is the show just basically did the same thing over and over again, and it just didn't really interest me at all. Which is why today I'm looking at Scooby-Doo on Zombie Island, which is a direct-to-video movie that I actually remember being really, really good. It not only rebooted the Scooby-Doo franchise, it also took the series in a more dark, realistic tone. Is it scary? Does it hold up? Well, stick around to find out. Lightning. That's not scary. Oh my god! The alignment of that text is all over the place! Run! So why is the on in the title so small? What's a preposition gotta do to get a little love around here? You got Scooby-Doo, you got Zombie Island, that's all you really need. Hey, I see you down there, you little bastard. You get out of here. So I gotta say, this opening is actually pretty cool. It's slow, it's atmospheric. It kind of reminds me of the opening to Castlevania Legacy of Darkness. It's actually kind of spooky. And you ruined it. You know guys, a dark creepy atmosphere and zany cartoon antics don't exactly go hand in hand. And look, the wacky chase scene is like a staple of Scooby-Doo, alright? They did it so often that they basically started making fun of it in a pup named Scooby-Doo by adding like dance sequences and shit. But it really doesn't work here because the Scooby Gang are shown to be in actual danger. This monster is literally trying to kill them. He breaks furniture, he throws a shield at them so hard it breaks through a feckin' window, which causes them to crash through a balcony, almost falling to their deaths. And all this while an upbeat version of the Scooby-Doo theme song is playing. I do know there's a difference between chasing after a bunch of kids in a costume and attempted murder. At least that's what they told me at my court hearing. Hey, I had to set those kids on fire, okay? They were after me pot of gold! At least that's what the magic talking leprechaun told me. Seriously, look at the terror on Fred's face here. That is the look of a man who's about to die with a hell of a lot of regrets. Mostly that he spent all his time solving mysteries instead of getting in Daphne's panties. He did get to second base with her that one time, but it just turned out to be a block of wood and a wig. That's an easy mistake to make. So it turns out that this whole opening was actually just a flashback. As we cut to undetermined amount of time later. Yeah, it's never really said in the movie how long it's been. As we see, Daphne's being interviewed on a talk show, which I like to think is called The Exposition Hour with Random Perky Black Woman. Try to guess where I came up with that name.
That moat monster almost sliced you up like a pepperoni pizza. And then we wouldn't have Coast to Coast with Daphne Blake. Your very successful syndicated series on Americana, going on its second season, I might add.
Damn, girl. You know, I've heard of houses being built on Indian burial grounds, but never one on an exposition dump. God, planning permission must have been a nightmare.
You know, the real reason I changed jobs was because the monsters and ghosts always turned out to be bad guys in a mask.
Got a little boring, eh?
No kidding.
Well, we did try to spice it up by having guest stars. We even added a puppy character. But we don't like to talk about the dark times. So apparently in the time skip, all the gang went their separate ways. Velma opened a bookstore, Shaggy and Scooby got a job at the airport, and Fred and Daphne got their own TV show. How they managed to get this TV show, and even what network they're on, we can add to the long list of questions this movie will never answer.
Gee, it's too bad the rest of the old gang won't be along for the ride.
Yeah, I really miss them.
Wait, why did they add a finger snapping sound effect? He never snapped his fingers. The way this is shown, it just looks like he was thinking too hard and then accidentally snapped his own neck. I wonder if the Batman cameo is still canon with this movie. Oh, down I go. Oh, hey look guys. Shaggy and Scooby are actually good at their airport job. They're actually taking on responsibility and being adults for once in their lives. Good for them.
A few moments later.
Like, hi, boss. You ate all the contraband. Excuse me.
Da 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 da.
You're fired.
Wait, seriously? I know airport security was looser back in the day, but you think they would suffer some kind of negative repercussions for eating thousands of dollars worth of contraband? Hell, if this was after 9/11, they'd be in Guantanamo Bay right now.
So what if this was like the greatest gig ever? Like, so what if we starve? Turn to skin and bones?
Come on, guys. At some point you have to take responsibility for your own lives, okay? There was that incident at the chocolate factory, the fancy restaurant, and most horrifying of all, the daycare center. Like, no, Scoob, don't eat the babies. Ruby, Ruby, Roo! So, almost immediately after getting fired, they get a call from Fred. You know, I could question how Fred got this number, but that would involve me giving a shit. The important thing is that the Scooby Gang are back together, and it's just like old times.
The ghost is here, is a crook in a suit. The ghost is here, he's protecting salute. The ghost is here, I'm giving the boot. He's fake.
You see, Scooby-Doo? Even your own music numbers are sick of your bullcrap.
Mechanical claws, magnets, hologram projectors. I've got a show to do. I need a real live ghost.
That's an oxymoron, Daph.
Whoa! Break out the flashlights, everybody, cause Velma's throwing shade. She ain't having none of that shit. Daphne's all like, I wanna see a real ghost. And Velma's all like, bitch, you for real. So here the gang meet up with Lena, and she works on Moonscar Island. And it's like totes haunted for reals, yo.
Sounds promising. We better find Scooby and Shaggy before Lena takes off.
Where'd those guys go?
Oh, that's no mystery. Where else? To get a bite to eat.
What? Shaggy and Scooby eating? Oh, what wonders this movie weaves for us. Boy, I get the feeling they're gonna be beating this joke so far into the ground we're gonna be finding pirate skeletons. So instead of following their common sense, the gang decide to follow Lena to Moonscar Island. Just an FYI guys, if a mysterious stranger invites you over to their island for the promise of a spooky time, it usually ends with a social worker and a doll. That's just my experience though.
Oh, Miss Lena, I see you brought you some company, eh?
What?
Well, if they want haunted, they come to the right place. Cool, man, yeah, sure. He was the most famous one, him.
Just look at all my scrimp here. My scrimp is the best scrimp inside of Louisiana. Now down the road, got up in that scrimp. And it ain't worth the slime and new paper it's sold on. Just look at all that earl on my scrimp.
So the gang make their way to Moonscar Island, but not before engaging in some wacky Scooby-Doo hijinks.
I got you, Scoob!
Actions have consequences.
Hang on, guys!
Damn it, Velma, buoyancy wasn't the issue here. Luckily, the dumbasses are saved by a creepy fisherman named Snakebite, but he don't take too kindly to no tourists around here.
Should've let the gators eat you. I can't stand tourists.
Excuse me, do you know how to get to town?
Yeah, it's back the way you came.
Suspicious character, eh, Velma?
True, but he did save you from being eaten by alligators.
Like, oh yeah.
You know, guys, not everyone you meet in this world is angry because they're after pirate treasure.
Some of them are just jerks. Stop that, Mr. Simpson.
So they arrive on Moonscar Island and... uh-oh. Cats. Scooby hates cats. I guess. I mean, it's never really been established before, but hey, at least they're doing something new with him. So Scooby runs, literally, into the owner of the house, a Miss Simone Lenoir.
It's Simone.
Right, what did I say? She's not too happy about a group of strangers showing up uninvited and letting their dog wreck the gaff.
I'm Daphne Blake of Coast to Coast.
We do not have television on my island.
Yeah, we're still a little behind the times here. Hell, we only freed our slaves last week.
Oh, Miss Lenoir, is your house really...
haunted? Yes. It is an old house with restless spirits.
Well, yeah. What's a ghost supposed to haunt? A new house? That would just be insanity. So, while the others explore the house, Scooby and Shaggy explore the kitchen. I'm sure they could be trusted to not make asses of themselves for 30 seconds.
So, how long have you worked for me?
I like how Scooby smashes a glass and then makes Lena pick it up. Dick move, dude.
Sorry for the interruption, Miss Lenoir.
Please, call me Simone. Shall we continue our tour of the house?
Continue the tour? When did it begin? You weren't even in the previous scene. So finally some spooky shit starts going down, as mysterious writing appears on the wall. But as Daphne films the writing, even more words start to appear. Meh, really the only thing scary about that message is the grammar. Unless you're telling someone named Beware to get out. And why you gotta do that? Beware's a nice guy.
This seems pretty solid.
Yes, Velma, it's called a wall. But the hunting's not over, as Velma suddenly levitated off the ground while wearing a skirt. That is just wonderful. Looks like Scooby's not the only one chasing pussy, you know what I'm saying?
Come on, Scoob!
Nice cat, Scooby.
Aw, stupid Scooby. I should have been the one to break her fall. The gang later review the footage and discover a spooky image.
It looks like a ghost.
It is the ghost of Morgan Moonscar.
Wait a minute. Zoom in on the image some more.
Tinkleberg.
Oh boy, this movie's getting too spooky. Better intercut some humor.
What's that?
We're hungry, and we're gonna get some food to go!
If you guys keep beating that dead horse, I'm gonna call it DSPCA on your asses.
Like, what are you doing back here, Velma?
I want to take another look at the wall.
Oh, Velma, you and your fascination with mundane things. But wait, what's this? It turns out that underneath the writing, there's more writing! Who cares? Turns out that parts of Morgan Moonscar's ship were used in the construction of the house. Boy, I hope this plot point doesn't come back in any significant way. That would just be super. So we cut back to Scooby and Shaggy as they go through their usual cartoon antics. Scooby chases some cats, gets a frog stuck on his head, gets chased by a pig, discovers a dead body in a hole which then reanimates and tries to kill them. You know, typical Scooby-Doo stuff. Wait a minute. Literally a minute ago, Scooby ran into a log and smashed his nose like an accordion. This movie shifts its tone so fast I think I got feckin' whiplash. They run away from the zombie and run into Bo the gardener and the rest of the gang. Running into the creepy gardener right after being chased by a monster? Oh, you can all tell where this is going.
What were you doing out here?
Yeah, Bo, what are you doing out here? Literally 15 feet from the house. You bastard.
I was doing some planting, got thirsty, went to get a drink, and came back to find these two.
What are you planting? Elephants? That hole is huge.
Your hole is huge. We just saw the dead come back to life, Velma. What the hell are you accusing him of? Being a feckin' wizard? So, conveniently, the ferry they came to the island on doesn't run at night. So they have to stay in the haunted house, where the scariest things we'll be seeing is all the self-referential humor.
Like, maybe I should dress for dinner, eh, Scoob? Boy, do I need a trim. Like, much better.
Look out! A Trump supporter! If he touches you, you'll catch the racism.
Freddy, what on earth are you doing?
Scooby and Shaggy saw another ghost.
My god, I can only imagine the psychological damage Scooby and Shaggy have endured, seeing both a real zombie and a real ghost in the space of only a couple of hours. Man, I can't wait to see how this dark, realistic movie deals with this kind of trauma.
Like ghost pirates, ghost soldiers, what's next?
Dinner! From all the screaming up here, I'd say you two must be starving.
Die in a fire! So Scooby and Shaggy have to go eat in the Mystery Machine because of all the cats in the house. And Scooby be hating on them cats, yo. Hey, this is long established canon, okay? It's not just some lazy plot point they created for this movie in order to get the characters from point A to point B. Stop being so cynical. Though on a completely unrelated note, the cats won't leave them alone, so they have to drive their car further into the woods, where I'm sure nothing zombie related will occur. Oh look, more zombies. That's refreshing. Movie, we have been over this. You can't have zany cartoon antics undercut by something dark and scary. They don't work together.
I think I got whiplash.
You can't have whiplash. You don't have a neck.
I meant ass whiplash.
Look, I really do like this movie, okay? And scenes like this one are great. But when you have characters who have shown that they can disobey the laws of physics at will, it kinda dissolves any tension that you might be going for. So the rest of the gang go out to find Shaggy and Scooby, and they run into Bo again.
Your crazy friends are near the bayou screaming about zombies. I didn't see any.
You never do. And you're never around when these ghosts and zombies appear.
Neither are you.
I'll go with Bo. I won't let him out of my sight.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Let the small, geeky girl with vision problems go with the muscle-bound, possibly homicidal maniac. You're a smart. Oh no, a zombie! Look out, Daphne!
That's my purse!
Damn, girl. Where that been the last 30 years?
Shaggy?
Scooby?
So it's time to rip that mask off and see who the culprit is. But who could it be?
It's the fisherman! No! It's the ferryman!
Oh!
Maybe it's real!
Everything you've ever believed is a lie. Oh my god, I love this scene. Fred just literally ripped the head off a corpse, and now everyone is tossing it around. We've seen the scene sort of parodied in different media, but to actually see it in Scooby-Doo is actually pretty awesome. But not as awesome as what comes next.
You hear the screeching of an owl, you hear the wind begin to howl. You know there's zombies on the prowl, and it's terror time again. They've got you running through the night. It's terror time again, and you just might die of fright. It's a terrifying time.
This scene is freaking amazing. The visuals, the music, it all just works. And it works, not in spite of it being Scooby-Doo, but because it's Scooby-Doo. Really, the only bad thing about this music sequence is when Scooby and Shaggy get hooked by a fishing line and somehow get launched back with enough force to bounce them off trees. My god, movie. If you just wanted to dissolve the tension so badly, you could have just given them a pair of bin lids. Aw, no, movie, go back. You know they're just gonna talk about food. So Scooby and Shaggy find a bunch of dolls and decide to play with them. I mean, I know they were running for their lives a minute ago, but hey, they deserve a break. Remember in that episode, The Walking Dead, when the gang are running away from the zombies, and then they decide to stop and have a tea party? It was one of the better episodes of Season 2. But it turns out that the dolls are actually voodoo dolls, and whatever they do to them affects the gang in real life.
Hey, this one looks like Daphne!
Are you sure? This thing doesn't look anything like Daphne. This thing's so cheap. Look at it. Head comes right off. Daphne? Daphne? Oh no. Luckily, a bunch of bats chased Scooby and Shaggy away before they could do any real harm. Now the only scars that are left are the ones on the inside. The gang make it back to the house, but Simone and Lena are nowhere to be found. That is until Fred discovers a secret tunnel! Secret tunnel! They find Lena and she tells them that Simone has been taken away by zombies. A fact that Velma finds very suspicious. Probably because it sounds like complete bullshit. But the dead have risen from their graves and are now walking the earth, so maybe now is not a good time to be poking holes in other people's stories.
Very clever, Velma, but it's too late.
Oh, it actually turns out that Lena and Simone are evil, and that they've been behind this whole thing.
What a twist!
Scooby-Dooby-Doo, where are you? We got some shit to deal with. Yeah, people. I mean, it was pretty obvious. What, you weren't paying attention? Were you texting on your phone this whole time? There is literally less than 10 minutes left in this movie, and they decide to drop this bombshell on us? This isn't so much a curveball as it is Superman flying around the planet and reversing time. The nuke they wanted to drop on Tokyo and Shin Godzilla would have had less of an impact than this. Oh, but it gets so much better, because here's the backstory to how they became evil cat ladies. You see, 200 years ago, they lived with a group that worshipped cats, but the pirate Morgan Moonscar showed up and started wrecking all their shit, and forced all the settlers into the swamp, where they all got eaten by alligators. So to get revenge, Lena and Simone basically sell their souls to their cat gods, so that they can turn into cat creatures and kill all the pirates. But in order to stay alive, they have to suck the lives out of people every harvest moon. Which means that the zombies and ghosts that we've been seeing up to now are actually the good guys trying to warn the Scooby Gang.
Alright, you gotta write all that down because I'm not gonna remember any of it, but here we go.
You know, we haven't checked in with Scooby and Shaggy in a while. Let's see what they're up to.
Like, are we ever glad to see you? There's no time to waste.
I am happy to see y'all.
That wasn't that big of a shock. You already talked like a crazy cat lady. The gang are about to be sacrificed when Scooby and Shaggy bumble their way in. But how are they going to defeat the cat monsters? By doing what they do best. Act like idiots and take up screen time. They take up so much screen time, in fact, that the moon moves out of its alignment. And the samurai pizza cats die. I'm sure glad that only 5 minutes of this movie's runtime was devoted to them. That would have cut into Shaggy and Scooby's precious eating time. And no one would want to miss that. Oh god, this movie is a mess. But you know what? It's a fun mess. The main problem with this movie is its tone. It wants to be goofy like the old show, but also be more dark and realistic, and the two do not go well together. There are times when it hits the right balance, but for the most part, it's like two completely different movies. Scooby and Shaggy are the worst parts of this movie. They do nothing new with the characters, instead just repeating the exact same tired jokes over and over again, and it gets really tiring really fast. The rest of the Scooby Gang, however, are great in this movie. They really feel like they've grown up and developed more as characters, but there's so little time devoted to them in this movie, and that is just a feckin' crime. I will give this movie credit that it does do a good job subverting the Scooby-Doo mythos, but also keeping true to the original feel of the show. It did manage to breathe some life into the smoldering corpse that is the Scooby-Doo franchise, and it's the reason why it's still going today. It's probably the only Scooby-Doo property that I actually do like, and as someone who doesn't really care that much about Scooby-Doo, that is pretty high praise. I don't know, I kind of feel like I've cheated you all, seeing as that movie wasn't really all that scary. So, I'll tell you what, next episode, I'll do the top 5 scariest cartoon moments from my childhood. That's bound to scare someone, right, Rosie? 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 Cats! Rikes!
You hear the screeching of an owl, you